So we're having an argument.
Yeah.
A big one.
A big one.
Is it big?
No.
We can't even decide if it's big or little, but it's an argument. And we need your help on deciding, is hiking or biking the Camino a better experience? So
yeah.
We just finished an experience on the Camino. You can watch our video up here about biking the Camino. We actually hiked it and biked it. We started in Logroño, Spain, and ended up in Santiago, Spain on the Camino Frances. We hiked it, and then we biked it, and then we finished hiking it.
Right.
So I am going to take the voice of the hiker, and Steve, and by the way, this is Steve. I'm Chris with EatWalkLearn. We are full-time traveling nomads, left Denver in May of 2021 with nothing but our carry-on suitcases, and we've been traveling ever since. Anyway, Steve is going to take the voice of the biker.
Yeah, I guess I'm the cyclist of the family. And, cycling the Camino was fantastic, was amazing. Again, if you want to see our video on that, we did a video just talking about our cycling experience. But I'm going to take the side of cycling was a great experience. I can't wait to do it again. And Chris doesn't agree.
Well, see, okay, so Steve when we lived in Denver, he was a huge cyclist. Every Saturday morning, he would get up and go cycling with his buddies. They did training. They did fundraising for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Go team. They raised, $250,000 for the Leukemia Society, more than that. And he was really, really into cycling. And of course, in Denver, there's mountains and beautiful views and vistas and incredible cycling trails. And you really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And Chris was, I want to say, like the queen of hiking. She literally wrote books on it and hiking in Denver and hiking in the Denver parks.
Yeah.
And she had this incredible following leading hikes and walks almost every day.
Yeah.
And
all over Denver.
All over Denver. And in the mountains and such too, as well. And so I guess we kind of are coming into this from a little bit different experience. But that was the nice thing about doing the Camino this time, is that we had 3 weeks to do it, and we did it both hiking and cycling. Yeah,
so about halfway through our cycling, we cycled for 5 days, and halfway through it, we stopped to take a break, and this couple from Colombia came walking by, and she had on this really cute hat. And I said, I said in Spanish, I like your hat. And she says, you speak Spanish. And so we start talking. And then the husband realizes Steve is not he doesn't speak as much Spanish as I do. And so the husband switched to English and he said, which do you like better, cycling or biking the Camino? And we both just kind of went, oh man. So there's some advantages to hiking the Camino. First of all, it's everybody does it. I mean, that's like the way you're supposed to do the Camino. I mean, traditionally, it's been a hiking way. You hike it. You can bike it. I think you have to do 200K in order to officially bike it. You can also do it on horseback, or you can hike it. And so traditionally, most people hike it or walk it. And it's kind of designed for that. There's enough hotels and support along the way that you can hike, 10 miles a day or 20 miles a day, whatever you want to do. Pretty much stop when you're tired and be able to rest for the day. What is this?
What?
These you should buy your cycling gloves.
You never know when a cycling event is going to break out, and I need to be ready. I got my helmet right over here.
Do you have your yellow jersey packed in your back?
Yeah.
So I was making the point that the albergues and everything are readily available for hikers to walk in and just relax after their hike. That's one of the advantages. That's why hiking is better.
Well, cycling, the clear advantage is that you're going at a little bit of faster pace. And walking, I love it. It's a natural way that humans go. And cycling, you get the wind in your hair and you go really fast down the downhills and, ring your bell. It's just a completely different experience, but it's one where you're moving at a much faster pace than you are if you're walking, so you can cover, a lot more territory in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, but is the Camino about doing it fast?
It could be. But that's why, if you're walking, and you want to achieve your, to get your Compostela, you've got to do at least 100 kilometers. And if you're cycling, you've got to do 200 kilometers. So you've got to go twice the distance, and it takes about that much time.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think hiking is better because you get when you're hiking along, you can stop and talk to people. You get bored along the way. There's always someone just right 10 feet ahead of you or 5 feet behind you or something that you can strike up a conversation with. You kind of create your own little hiking family as you're going down the Camino because everybody's kind of doing the same pace and you can run into the same people all the time. And it's just, you develop a network and social life.
Yeah, and some people think that really you shouldn't do biking, is that biking is just not appropriate to do on the Camino. But surprisingly, there are a lot of people cycling it, and you build up a community that way as well. And you meet the other cyclers, and you talk about your experience in cycling, just like the people who are hiking are talking about their experience. But also, the Camino is really fairly well designed for cycling. A lot of the parts of the trail are on a road where you can be cycling right alongside of where the hikers are. So you're having that same experience as well, but it's different.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like about it, is that it is unique. It is a different experience, and it's not like I'm doing the Camino the way everybody else does the Camino. I'm doing it in a different way. I'm doing it in a way that's unique to me, and I enjoy it.
I think hiking is easier than biking. What do you think?
Well, there are certain things about hiking certainly that's easier. You certainly need less equipment. You don't have to worry about where to park your bike and if your bike is going to get stolen at night. Although there are a lot of places that we're able to park our bikes very safely and lock them up and not have to worry about them at all. So the Camino is really designed well for people who are cycling in that respect. But in the cycling, you need to worry about, am I going to get a flat tire? I had my chain come off a couple of times that I had to stop and got my hands all greasy.
Yeah, but I think
got my bike gloves.
Yeah, I think the advantage, at least with the biking, I'll give you a point for biking, is that you're not going to get blisters biking.
No, other parts might
get sore
and get sore, but your feet are pretty well taken care of when you're biking.
Yeah. That was one of the disadvantages of hiking. I mean, even though I swapped out my shoes and I was really diligent about taking care of my feet, I still ended up with blisters, which is surprising after worn probably every pair of shoes ever made in the hiking niche of shoes. I still managed to get blisters, and especially all the thousands of miles I've hiked, I thought I would figure out how not to get blisters. But anyway, I ended up with blisters. But the only thing that I ended up with on the bike was just the sore tush. Which, I don't know if that's pro or con in relation to the blisters, but anyway. Yeah. And I think with the hike, I mean, you could say that hiking is cheaper than biking because you don't have to pay for bikes and storage of bikes and transport of bikes and all the things all the costs. I mean, it was cost us €500 for the two of us to have bikes for a week, which you don't have to have when you're hiking. But then you've got twice the amount of time hiking, so you've got that €500 eaten up in extra hotel rooms and extra food and extra
if you're doing,
resources and things.
You certainly could calculate that kind of trade-off as well. I'd say, for the equipment-wise and the cost of having that, if you're going to rent bikes, certainly there's going to be an expense. You say, well, I've got my own bike. Well, you've got to get it there and you've got to get it home. So there's certainly a cost of transporting your own
But, despite the logistics and the cost and all that stuff, like if you just think about the experience, like which was more fun? See, look at our tagline here: smarter, cheaper, funner. I don't know if funner is a word, but we're making it one. We're definitely smarter, and we definitely know how to do things cheaper. Was biking or hiking funner?
I think biking was more fun. I'm not going to use the word funner. I think biking was funner.
I think it was funnier.
Funnier.
You see, when the Colombians asked us this question, I was kind of dumbfounded about how to answer it. It probably wasn't a good day because we were having a really long day on the bikes that day. But I'm going to go with the biking was more fun because it was different. I think it was more memorable because I think if you would have hiked it, it would have. I think I mean, the Camino is different than all the other hikes we've ever done in the world, but I think having the bike experience is going to, in the long run, make our Camino experience more memorable.
Right.
Because if we just would have hiked it, it probably would blend in with a lot of the other hikes in the world that we've done.
Yeah. And certainly to break it up the way we did, where we did a week of hiking, a week of biking, and then a week of hiking, was a great way to sandwich it, and also to be able to make those comparisons like we're doing right now, in order to say, well, which was better. And they both had advantages and pros and cons.
Yeah.
So
if you're thinking that you want to bike, watch our video here about biking. We've got lots of Camino content. I'll put the playlist up here about all of our Camino content. We also have Camino content on the website. So go to EatWalkLearn.com. Please subscribe, share with all your friends. Buy us a cup of coffee if you want. We love hearing from you, and we're glad you're our fans. We're glad that we can do this content for you every week, and we will see you next week with, I don't know what the heck we're going to talk about, but we'll have a good time doing it. See you then.